Alright. Check mic test. Testing 1, 2, 3. Test. Alright. Good day, guys. Good morning. Good day to you. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome back to my live stream in here. We're gonna do some budget stuff in here. I've already heard these. From the title, the OG cadenza, the red lines. I've already tried tried these last week, and I was already awake an hour ago. I just forgot I didn't graph them, so I took me about an hour to freaking graph them, man. It's taking a little bit too long, but yeah. Whoops, not that one. Oops, for a while. Let me just open up my. Okay, there it is. So, where do I start? I start with probably the red lion. I graphed them already, and I had problems with the coding, and it just didn't. I don't know, but yeah. Oh, first sip of coffee. How are you guys doing, by the way? I think. Oh, should I release my? Yeah, I'm gonna release my video on the beta. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's I didn't score it because I don't know. I just it was weird. So let's do some graph sniffings here. Graph sniffing. All right. Oh no. No. Oh, wait. There it is. Okay, I'm back. So I think I'll start with the red lion first. Tangzu red lion. It actually graphs pretty good. And it reminded me of the Oneer. There's a little bit of channel imbalance there, which is, can't really complain. But looking at that, it shares the same gain as the Oneer. This is a little bit too high. Let me just put this down. Maybe it's okay to do that. And then kind of like point it to me, and then probably there. That should be fine. Oop. What was that? What did I press? Hello, check mic test. Please do let me know if you can hear me. I am doing some stupid stuff in here. Wait, let me just. I didn't know what I did. Checking my microphone. Oh, okay. All right. I think all is good. Check mic test. All right. So yeah, with the red lion in here, again, there's a little bit of channel imbalance in there. Let me put in there my balance target. It is bassy, which is nice. It is like a balanced bassy set, I think. Look at the graph in there. It looks okay. Adam really like it. This is Adam's unit, by the way. It's not mine, so I feel like this is gonna be how I review stuff in the future. I feel like there's very little bias when the sets are not coming from the company. Like I borrow sets, and I kind of like enjoy reviewing sets that I tried alone. to be honest, just because um I don't have the liability, not really liability, but I don't have to I know. I mean, I can also be honest. Just like the Tostura, like I really didn't like it, but I feel like I don't know. I just feel like it's much better to do that. So moving forward, I'm probably gonna be like borrowing more sets from different reviewers, and they're also willing. And actually, I am borrowing sets from Audio Amigo, AGN. Yeah, I started late because I graphed and I broke the code, and yeah. So, but anyhow, we have here the red line. Oh, by the way, guys, if you are here, Popinator and thank you so much for becoming members. I just turned that on. It just told me like, "Hey, you are eligible for blah 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 membership." And so, GPLA 1000 and Popinator, thank you so much for being members. I'm not sure if you're here, but really appreciate that. I don't know what that should do. It's just $1. It's just there, and it's just $1, and all the perks are unlocked. So I didn't wanna. I don't want to put levels. Why would I put levels? You know, if you're gonna be a member, there's no discrimination. It's just be a member. Why are there tiers? I didn't understand why there were tiers, so I just chose the cheapest one and unlocked all of whatever you can do there. But anyhow, I'm not forcing you to do. I don't even know what to do with these, man. Like maybe in the future I'll use it for shipping, because I actually need to do some giveaways. So Dunu or Hi-Fi Go sent me 2 of the Titan X E. So I'm gonna give this away. Oh, I'm gonna give this away. If you're in the US, it's unsealed. Huh? It's sealed. Sorry. It's sealed. But you know what? I might actually just give this to Adam. If Adam is here. But I'll see. Because Adam, the sets that are okay. Let me just show you what I graphed or what I got from him. So I have the OG cadenza, the wyvern black, the ISN. Dang, that ISN stuff is funny. And the ET142. Same god, dude. That's a lot, man. Why do I do this? So I'm just gonna. Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna do like that. Hey, good morning, Adam. So I was saying the Hi-Fi Go actually sent me like 2 of the Titan X. So I'll probably just give this to you because you liked it, right? But yeah, and then so we have as I've said, when I first heard the red lion, I felt like this is very much close to the Warner, huh? The red line is very close to the Warner. I still think that this is too up. Should be fine. Yeah, it is a good set. It is a good set. I don't know, but it's actually similar to Titan S. Probably a little more peaky than Titan S, but definitely bassier. But I'll do my review on that. But for now, the red line is a very good set. The Warner was good. It's just that it didn't have sub bass. For me, the Warner still has that balance though. Where is it? No. Let me take that. It's just really about the bass, man. It's just really about those. And I feel like it's just actually the same driver. Yeah. And Tangzu likes to do that. They did that with the Shiminli, and they did that with the Encounter. Um, but they're just very good at, you know what, Tangzu. They are a very good. They handle their company very good business wise. They move the money a lot. That's just the owner, Steve. I think he's also an audiophile. He buys stuff, but business wise, they are very very tight, very tight, and just like all of the moves, all they do, there it's very calculated, very like typical Chinese business. Okay, so I'm pretty sure these drivers are inexpensive, but they do it in such a way. They try to balance everything, like I'm pretty sure these cost, I don't know, probably I'm pretty sure this is just it's just my assumption, but I have an impression that they are very good at business and marketing. Yes. So, that can do it. But the thing that really surprised me about this package is I think this is like 30 bucks or something. Like the cable is very nice. It doesn't feel like a cable from like a sub $60 set. It is very nice, and I don't know how they found it, but I know that Tangzo team is very good at packaging, accessories, presentation. Um, yeah. Mm, it's like the presentation and art, and they're like that kind of company, and they're growing. I just saw a picture of them, or like Tangzu, like they're expanding, right? They're moving to a different office. They've expanded to 20 what employees now. And like I had a business before, and business is to put it simple, business is really just um the core of business is really just um writing down what comes in and what comes out. This is what my wife advised me. Business is just trying to write down properly what comes in and what comes out. Okay? And they're very good at that, I think. Um and so that's that they deserve what they've reached now. And yeah, Adam said like he doesn't really dig the shells. It feels cheap, and I know these are cheap, and I know these are recycled drivers. But the thing about that is, they sound good. Like does it even matter if they recycle the driver, but it still sounds good. You get better package, dude. You get better package. I think you get more ear tips, Sankai ear tips, stuff like that. So morning. Oh, it's night in Singapore. Yeah, it's morning here. I'm in the US, so I know it's night, and I'm Filipino, so I'm pretty sure it's around. Um, but yeah. Anyhow, Changzhou, these are like basey sets. Let me just try this out. Or maybe not. Let's see. Where can I try this? Come on. Maybe. How about you guys? Have you tried the what was your favorite Tangzu stuff? Tangzu is just very they don't they learned that, I don't know. It's just very good. Like they sell stuff a lot in Japan. Um I think they one of their vendors, of course, is earphones. All right. But oh my god. Of all. Oh, okay, that's nice. Okay, all right. So, all right, let's try this one in here. A set. I know. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. So, and that's why I know that the driver has been recycled. But then again, it makes more sense to have this. And the studio, I think it's also the same driver as the studio, or even the 1 or 2. My week was okay, just typical stuff. Excited to go to the mountains and rip snowboarding. Wait. Why don't I have? Oh, that's why. Yeah, I know. I don't know what happened. Like it kept maybe it's the setting, but it just keeps saying processing or something. So I don't know what I did there. Um I need to figure that out. I don't know what's going on though. But yeah, I did notice that. It's not archive. It kept saying like processing, but it's not even moving, so I don't know what happened. Yeah, so going back to the Red Lion, it's a warm set, definitely warmer than the Oneer, as you can see there. Um, Probably a shift in peak, but it's probably just also because of the filters. Oh, Poppinator, hey dude. I think you're the first one to become a member. Thank you so much, man. Like again, as I've explained in my first parlay, I just turned on that setting in there and they asked me like tiers and stuff. I just went on the cheapest one and I didn't want like any tiers because like there's like a tier list or something. Like why would there be tier list on member? So I just put in the cheapest one, unlocked all the perks and yeah, but anyhow, thank you so much though. Oh, you did? Oh man, dude, thank you so much, dude. Again, this is like I'm gonna be very transparent on this. I'm gonna be showing you how much I earn for the membership, and I'm just gonna be I don't know using that for shipping to send it to someone and buying stuff too. And I really, I don't know, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. So that's for the runner over there. Let's move on now to. So Tangzo sent you an extra of Sankai Narobor tips with Red Lion. Yeah, I know. They're a lot. They do that a lot. So we have the Kiwi Ears cadenza in here. Now, I'm okay, let me just look at other graphs of the cadenza, okay? Earphones archive because when I first heard it, when I first heard this one, oh yeah, it does resemble mine. When I first heard the cadenza, it reminded me of what even is that earphone? It reminded me of immediately reminded me of a beryllium driver because it is a beryllium driver, right? Um yeah, thanks man. Gian, Popinator and GLP 1000 or something. Thank you so much guys. But anyhow, the where was I? Dude, I forgot what was that though. It's a discontinued set, but anyhow, beryllium drivers have this they have this sound to them or like depth even. They have this depth in them that it's hard to explain. So it's a little bit peaky, I know. And that's why I checked other units if it's the same as mine. Because the bass does not look a lot, but it follows my target. But at first, I did think that, wow, this has a very nice stage. And then after for a few listenings, I felt like, wow, this is getting shoutier. It doesn't make sense. So I'm checking out other graphs in here. I see that. So it's different. So I'm not sure. I may be missing a filter. Not mine. This is uh Adam's unit, by the way. So probably missing a filter there. Definitely missing a filter. Definitely different from Hawaiian Bad Boy, but the bass is there. Yep, definitely missing a filter. It's just I don't know what filter it is, 500 or 1000 or maybe just channel imbalance or something. But yeah, that is the importance of having your own rig just for disputes, you know. But I'm not saying it does sound shouty. It does sound like this. But the bass is very very well done. Let me just listen to it again. Because when I first tried it, it was in Starbucks, right? And so sometimes you have that preconceived notion, not preconceived notion, but like bias. We have that bias because you kind of like, oh yeah, it graphed like this. And so when I tried it, yeah, the bass was really good. And then listening to it when I got home, listening to it more, I felt like it doesn't make sense. Like it's a little bit shouty. But it's a fault in my end because I didn't graph it immediately. I just graphed everything this morning, and so that's why I'm a little bit late. But um I already have. I already have. I actually have filters. The 500 and 300 and different. But the thing is, sometimes companies or maybe it's most of them, the filters on the nozzles, they come with the screen. If that makes sense. So it's like, so there is like a lip inside to put the filters on, and then they put the screen on. Sometimes the filters are part of the screen. Um, this is just what I've noticed, but I know I could put filters in here actually. Just too lazy to do that. But I can tell that this is a better driver compared to the cadenza 2. Yeah, I can already tell. I mean, just the overall sound of it. Because again, I can hear. I'm not sure if you can. I can hear driver types. Not really hear driver types. It's like it's hard to explain, but you know, like I've heard many IEMs and they graph the same, but the driver's different, and I just kind of like, yeah, it feels like it comes from the same DNA. And again, when I first heard the cadenza, I said like, yeah, this is definitely beryllium driver. They just have that sense of space. It's almost like a planar that when you hear it, it just has that sense of space. It's different with DLC though, because DLC is like they're very they have that clarity to them, but they don't really have that much depth. And of course it can be tuning too. But the thing with beryllium is you can't really crank the bass up because it's gonna sound really really dark. Too like especially if you put in there 500 filters. Usually with the berylliums that dude, I forgot that there was this beryllium driver that was, man, I can't even remember. Was it? I'm pretty sure it was from KB Ear. No, was it from KB Ear though? Dang, man, I'm not sure if it's from KB Ear. Ah, it's the Believe. It's not here. Um, you guys remember the Believe? It's the Believe. I believe. So the thing about this Caber Believe, this is beryllium driver. This is like, I don't know, 4 years ago or 5 years ago. So this one here, the Believe, they discontinued it, and then a company in Japan bought the Believe. Bought the series or something, but they just renamed it, and I forgot the name, and they released it to like I forgot the name, but it just exactly the same, just the naming is different. So, and it sounded really really close to that though. Like, does okay, he has it. Yeah. That kind of like gain in there really remind me of the Believe. Um all right. So much about that. So that is the cadenza, OG cadenza. I would definitely pick the OG cadenza. Um, you know, I'll definitely pick this over the cadenza 2. The cadenza 2 is good, but again, people say, like, just listen to it, and um there's really nothing wrong with the cadenza 2, and that's the thing, that there's really nothing wrong with it. It's just very vanilla, like plain Jane, and there's nothing really something wrong with being a plain Jane. Being a plain Jane, and that's if you know what I mean. Being a plain Jane is you know what makes it a plain Jane. But let's see here. Is that I can see why people would prefer the OG cadenza. Not this kind of tuning. I'm pretty sure this just needs some filters. But yeah, the cadenza 2 just sounds really really safe, and driver wise, I feel like the OG cadenza beryllium is much more capable of giving that fun and more engagement and stuff like that. Yeah, it is boring. Adam, don't you want to go to like Can Jam, SoCal? All right. So, next one is we have the wyvern. Yeah, very typical Chimera tuning. They've had this tuning for a long time. Like this kind of tuning, it's like EW 300 or 200, EW 200. Yeah, kind of. No, just EW 200 probably. Um, like classic V-shape kind of tuning, like a smoother V-shaped. And I think the shells, I know Chimera, they do really really good with shells. It's almost like AFO level of comfort. And I know this because before even they before even they have the Celeste, it's their sister brand or sub brand. They had budget sets before, Chimera. And I think it's the BD005 Pro. Yeah, I think it's the BD005. My memory is still good. You know that those shells, yeah, very reminiscent, right? It's very very reminiscent. Like these are like around the same price as the Wyvern Blacks. And this is like 6 years ago. So they definitely have, you know, experience in making good shells, and it's really not much different, right? To the Wyvern Black. It's just that they just made the Celeste models exclusively as their budget models and stuff. But it's I would say this is definitely the same mold, man. Definitely the same mold. And tuning wise might even be very close as well. Let's see. Let's see there. Where is it? BD005, but I need to have someone with a Wyvern Black. I think Paul has it. A little bit different. Oh, he there's a lot of wyverns in here. I don't even know what mine is. But yeah, Paul seems to have a lot. This graph's really good though, the Abyss. But yeah, for this sound in here, just classic V-shaped. Oh, good morning there. Yeah, I know. Takes a lot of time to go to Canjam though, and need some budget. But yeah, let me just listen to the Wyvern again. This is cheap. This is like $30. Hey there, Ren. The bass on this though is very very good. It's just very good. It's probably one of the best implementations of bass around this price range. It's very very textured. Tuning it's probably because of the overall tuning, but Yep. So bass is really good in this. What I'm surprised about, Adam, is the H20. I told you about like this is weird, you know, like we were saying about like it sounded a little bit weird and wait. Why can't I do? Ah, man, do I have to remove all? It's weird because it's graphs like this. And I should have learned my lesson. Like if the stage is weird, it actually has something to do with some imbalance or something. So this is definitely okay. So the way to there. So there are three filters of a single DDIM. Usually there are 3 filters. Okay. So the first filter is the nozzle, of course. Sometimes like usually it's for like smoothing the gain. Mostly the nozzles is affecting the gain. One filter is on the vents. You see those tiny holes? There's a filter in there, and of course it limits air pressure, and it usually controls the bass right here around, yeah, 500 to like the sub bass. It controls how much air it goes in there. And the last filter is on the driver. So usually with driver filters it's like standard 200, but you can go thicker if the driver is really like out of control, shouty and stuff like that. But definitely it depends on what tuning you want to achieve, because again, if you make an IM, you start with the driver first, check your driver's capability, and then start from there. You don't force the driver to sing if it can't handle any frequencies, you know? So usually it's like a standard 200 filter for the driver. Sometimes, I don't know, if they really want the driver to sing, they just control the vent and the nozzle filters. But again, there's so many factors also, like driver placement, the like driver angles, and the overall internal design. There's so many things at play there. But yeah, definitely with this one in here, it looks like a mismatch of filter in the vents. I can see that it's in the vents because there's really not a lot of problem around the gain, and it's also like a double horn. So yeah. Um do you guys know, do you guys do um Harmon train how to listen or something? Was it how to train how to listen, how to, I forgot, was it, I have that actually. No, a Harmon how to listen. Yeah, do you guys know Harmon try to listen? Any of you went to like the higher levels? I did that. I just got tired, but I passed almost halfway. I was halfway, and then I just, dude, I'm just gonna listen to music, But what I'm saying is, it is a free software. Harman, what was that? How to, fuck, Harman, how to, yeah, Harman, how to listen. Harman, how to listen. So this software is yes, mess around with filters. So Harman how to listen is so when Sean Olive did his research, and then when he said that the subjects are Harman trained, or like trained listeners, this was the criteria. They should pass the Harman how to listen app. They reach a certain level of like, yeah, a test, and that's how it's decided that they are trained listeners. I'm not saying that you're gonna be, like your listening is gonna get better, or, but this is a very good objective, a good starting point to know what correct sounding is, and how to know where the peaks and dips are without looking at FR, because you will know if you it is, and it's a very fun software, dude. It's like a game. It's like it tells you, it plays a music, and then it tells you where the dip is, where the peak is, and if you do that exercise every morning, it's not gonna make you like, but in some way it's gonna train your listening, okay? Because it's how to listen, right? But yeah, definitely check out Harmon how to listen. It's a free software. You just register, I think, like any email, and run it. It's in my other laptop, so I'm not doing it right now because it gets really difficult. It gets to the point where it's really difficult to point out like what are the changes, and so yeah. So if you really want to go that route, like very objective, you can do that, but Tuning. Oh, okay. So, yeah, there was a comment about the graph reading. There was a comment that I received. I haven't replied to the guy, but he said, how do I determine the targets?" So that the target is determined, of course, by an IEM you tried. Um, so my balance target, okay, just want to be transparent about this. My balance target is based off of edemotic gain. Uh, edemotic. So the edemotic gain does not peak at 3K, and it has a fuller 1.5 to 2K. And for me at that time when I made this target, this just sounded more natural to me. And then I didn't really want to tuck my bass because with the automatic, there's just like they're following diffused feel, right? So kind of like my gain is more like the diffused. Do I have diffused in here? Yeah, diffused field kind of. But this is too high. Of course, it's too high. This is what the automatic was aiming for, and you see that it doesn't really peak at 3K, right? So around 2.8, 2.5, somewhere right there. And then I made it lower. And then just there, like it's not really like hard something. And then when I first tried the Warner, it looked Warner, where's Warner? So kind of like Warner, and then I just adjusted that. You know what I mean? So it's like Warner, and then I just EQ'd it until I got this kind of curve. So what I mean by EQ is you just go to I don't know, like to squig, and maybe say for example no, remove this one here. I don't know. You know what I mean, right? Say for example 3K. You feel like the gain is a little bit too high in that, and then you just wanna do like 0.3, and so it's down, right? You look at that, and so that's what I did. Like, yeah, the gain is a little bit too high. I want to reduce the gain to -1 with a Q value, and I think I want a little bit more sub bass, so I target 30 in there. Let me just so that I don't have a cheat. Okay, so this is all done in situ, meaning by ear. Okay, so I look at the graph, and then I think I want to reduce the gain a little bit. So you want to have an IM first that you really like. This is just an example because the Warner at that time was the closest to edemotic gain, and so I said like, yeah, 30. Maybe increase it to, I don't know, maybe 3 with 0.7. Probably not. Nope, that is too. Oh, no. This is definitely too big. 2 and 0.5 probably. This needs 2 filters, man. Oh god. Yeah, kind of like that, if you understand. And then if yeah, you know what? It's probably not 20. It's probably 10. Yeah, kind of like, and this is 20, I think. Yeah, something like that. Okay. And so that, yeah, so for example, for Ren, if you want to make your own target and you listen to, I don't know what you want to try. Let's say for example the Kima 2, all right? You do the Kima 2, and look at Kima 2 is already very close to like Warner and stuff, right? And like it's even really close to what I EQ'd, right? So definitely, and it's very consistent in how I hear stuff, right? So whatever change I do, it's very consistent with how it graphs, and I just stick with that. So that's how I make, and then you save that. So for example, you have this one in here. You are gonna save that in red. You remove everything and then you save that in red. You screenshot and make sure it's red, and you screenshot that. And then you now go to Timmy's live stream and he will show you how to use the target. I can also make a live stream on that, but make sure that everything that you make on the target, you just screenshot it. You can also reduce the like the gain in here. And the reason why Studio 4 is yeah, there's no peak in there actually. So you can reduce the peak too. Just target that 8K and reduce or remove that peak in there. So that should be fine. Your my graph has more base than any other graph in Squig. It's probably... Oh, are you doing measurements? What source are you using? I mean, Apple dongle or... Yes, that is right, Misk. Yeah. Okay, so you have a lot of IEMs and you don't know how to tune. Again, you don't really trust Squig. The best way to do Squig is just like a visualization. Okay. It's just like you know, you use your Apple dongle. Okay. Okay, that's great. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. So no problems then. So there's a question here, Vivinless. So you really don't know how to tune by Squig. You don't really want to tune by Squig. This is just for visualization. So you tune by ear. I mean, I know a lot of people, they look at the graph and then they tune from this, but you tune by ear. So for example, just an example, okay? I have the Sivga SM100, okay? Like the Sivga SM100, you see that there's a peak in there, right? But I'm not bothered with that peak. Why would I change that? You know what I mean? What would I change? And so in order for you to know that peak, so for example, you go to my Squig, right? And in order for you to know if that's really a peak in there, you just use this frequency range in here. You know, like wing, and then if it matches your, if this graph matches the tone generator around 2.5, you'd usually hear like it's a little bit unbearable, you know? And so you say, okay, so this peak is unbearable for me. So you kind of like, yeah, maybe I'll reduce this peak to, I don't know, maybe, where's that? So you say maybe I'll reduce this maybe 2,200 to, I don't know, maybe -1 and 0.5, kind of like that, or maybe even 2 if you don't like it, maybe 0.9, something like that. So again, it's PEQ. It's not the digital EQ, it's just mostly PEQ. But then again, you EQ by ear, not EQ by visual. The visualization just helps you what you want to target in there. That is one too. That is one. So yeah, and also with the different kinds of coupler too. Like every reviewer graph them differently, so the peaks might actually be a little bit more different. So I would say that the way I graph is consistent to what I hear. I would say that at least until, I don't know, until 8K. It might be different for other reviewers. I know Mark's rig has a recession around 4K to 5K. Yes, it is. It is golden to trust your ears. And this is just a guide. You know, when you look at other graphs, this is just a guide. And most of the time, if you know, like at least you know what happens. You know, especially when you're doing PQ. Like say for example, the thing about digital EQ. You know what digital EQ, like just the digital EQ usually has a Q value of 3. Is it 3? So usually around a Q value of like 3 or 5, I guess. So this is what happens with digital EQ. Like there's a fixed frequency, and then you just adjust the gain, right? So when you increase that, usually the spike it only alters that frequency area in there. So with digital EQ also, there's a limit that you can't. It's you don't have to go over 5, because if you go like say for example 8, it is gonna sound really different from the rest. There's no coherence over there. The good thing about PEQ is you can change how wide this bandwidth would be. So for example, if I make it like to 0.2, that is what's what it gonna look like. Oh man, really? No, not negative 2. 0.2, yeah. So this one, so the lower the value is, the wider it has some change. So this is why when you tune on Squig, at least it gives you some visualization on what to do. Yeah, so you match. Yes, you match it with 8K. Like any peak is actually good, because sometimes IEMs don't have 8K peak. Sometimes it's 9K, sometimes it's 7. The good thing, the reason for that is, say for example, Ren, if the right earpiece, if you match it to 9K, and then the left you match it to 8K, and when you combine their SPL, it's gonna look different, you know? So matching on the 8K is really just for consistency. And sometimes it's really not even just 8K. So 8K is just the 8K peak. There's always gonna be peak around 7 to 9K or even 10K. There's always that resonance in there. It's just the nature of the driver and the coupler. There's always that resonance in there. So that peak may be present in your ears, or it may be not. But the 8K seems to be, almost always, seems to be just the proper depth insertion. It's not too shallow and it's not too deep. And it happens to be that 8K peak in there. You know? Sometimes, if you really want to be consistent, sometimes like with the Red Lion, the Red Lion's 8K peak is actually a shallower fit. And if I shove it deeper, it shifts the peak into like 8.5 or 9. So which would I choose? I'll just choose the 8K for consistency, but it may interact with your ears differently. So it's really just for depth, you know? The best thing is actually just to insert the IMs in consistent depth. That's what other reviewers are doing now. If you've noticed, they put in there like deep insertion and shallow insertion, right? They do that. But the problem with me about deep insertion and shallow insertion is not all IMs have the same nozzle length. So still, it doesn't make sense. Even if you shove it deep, it's still gonna sound different because of the length of the nozzle. and the length of the nozzle also impacts the overall sound. Just like the ET142, the SIMGOT ET142, um, it has different nozzles, and each nozzle actually has different length, and it changes the peaks. So for me, I would when Timmy and Mark started doing deep insertions and shallow insertions, I realized that yeah, if I do that, some IEMs actually have like shorter nozzles, so it's not gonna matter anyway. So I just stick with the 8K or any peak that I can find from 7 to 9K. So that is the I know there's a lot of nuance to measuring stuff, and just don't put the measuring in like a face value or something. You really have to have enough um what's this? Uh enough discretion. But yeah, the Wyvern Black is it's a fine IM, and the ISN. Um oh, we have here the SIMGOT. I haven't really seen the SIMGOT ET142, but let me just uh check what it looks like in here. So this is the red. This is the black. This is the gold. And I think colored. So almost the same base. Yeah. But hey, these actually sound really good. I think what's in here is the red nozzle. Yeah, I know. The Wyvern Black sounds good. It sounds good. I like the Wyvern Black too, especially the bass. I really like how the bass sounds on. I mean, how the texturing is done on that. So, is it a single driver? Is Wyvern Black a single driver or a hybrid? Oh, it's an LCP. Yes, 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 definitely. So, and when I tune, um, when I EQ on Squig, or like when I do EQ, it's really, so for example, I don't want to fix the IM. So this is okay. I don't want to fix the IM. When I do EQ, I don't want to fix the IM. I just increase or decrease a frequency band. So for example, in this case in here, I say like, yeah, it actually looks good. And when I listen to it, yeah, it's pretty good actually. I just maybe reduce this peak a little bit and I'm done. Usually maximum of only just 3 filters and I'm done. But some people go to like, I don't know, like they really make it really perfect, and you know, and it makes it harder for whatever software you have, because there's a preamp in there and it clips when there's, and it depends on the software too, of course. But say for example in this one in here, and it sounds good to me, the colored one, and maybe I just want to shift the peak in here, so 2100 maybe, and -3, and a Q value of maybe 0.9. Oh, no, 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 no. Sorry, not. 0.9. What? It's broken. I broke it. Oh man, where's it? For a while. Let me just show you what I did there again. So I have the gold. I target 2100. And then gain of -3 and Q value of... Is it doing anything? Okay. -3. Yeah, kind of like that. You know, kind of like that. So... And then yeah, really just kind of like that. That changes. Just one filter is enough. It's better than a digital filter because I can change how wide I need to change, or like, I don't know, or how narrow I want to do it. It really depends. But 1.5 is probably okay. Yeah, like 1.5. Yeah. I'm sorry, 2.5. So basically that's just how I do EQ. Not a lot, not a ton. I don't want to like change overall signature because, you know, like give some respect to the tuners. You know, why would you buy the IM in the first place? If you're gonna, it's like buying a Toyota, brand new Toyota, and then just pimping it all, everything. You know, instead of like just putting some decals and stuff, you just like change everything about it. So. Yeah, I measured all of the nozzles there. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. With multiple filters, definitely. Definitely. Very, very powerful tool. And not a lot of, I don't know, like, this actually looks really good. Like, this extension for a planar is actually very, very good. You know what? Let me just try this gold nozzle in here. And apply this EQ that I did. Oh yeah, I understand. I should have expressed it differently. I didn't mean that to trust the engineers. I was just saying that if you knew how it looked like, say for example, right now in this kind of, say for example, in this kind of knowledge that we have, we kind of like filter everything to graphs, right? Like, say for example, I saw the ISN H20, okay? And you know that it graphs like this. And then you buy this and then change it to like I don't know, like change it to like how Akima should sound. That's what I meant by there. I didn't mean like, you know, don't trust the engineers or something. We are at this level that we have a lot of options. There's information available to us before buying an IEM. And of course, like if you really want the design, why not? But I just don't make it doesn't make sense for me. If I know how it graphs, I buy it and then I change it to the sound that is very, very different. That's just my point in there. But I understand what you said, that, you know, like the engineer knows best. There was this post about the what was that planar from 64 Audio. I think there was a post on Facebook about 64 Audio planar driver being sold for like, what was $30 or something, and that planar, what was their planar? I'm pretty sure it's not solo, this one in here, right? So, like, $1,000 for a single planar. I'm pretty sure it's not that hard to tune it. And then there was this post on Facebook, and I think a lot of reviewers have said, like, this is very good sounding, blah blah blah, and they trust the engineers, like their technology or whatever. And then a post on Facebook showing that the driver is $30 on AliExpress or Alibaba, and they're like, yeah. I know. Yeah, I know. So I don't trust the treble as well because it's gonna react differently anyway. It's not gonna sound smoother because the treble is very very hard to target, and it's evident, like, depending on how deep or shallow you insert, the treble is gonna react differently. So if you're going to target or change treble, you better do a very very low Q value, like 0.2. You can't have like a Q value of 1 when you EQ treble, and just don't trust, or just don't EQ treble anyway. You have a little bit of leeway around 3 to 5k. It's still gonna be, but then again, it's really really personal because we have different bends in the ears, and it's really gonna be different. And EQ is a skill. What I mean by that is it is a personal skill that you know your ears, you know how you're hearing, you know your peaks, and you EQ it depending on how much you want your sound to change. Anyhow, so I'm gonna try the gold nozzle in here. Whoops. And I'm gonna put this EQ filter. Yeah, EQ is entirely a different, could be like a different hobby. And you know what? Okay, so this is what people, so if you go deeper into the EQ is an entirely different subject with tuning, and a lot of people don't realize this, okay? Because even in mixing engineers, it is a skill, and it is a skill to in how to present sound, okay? if if you EQ too much, again, if you EQ too much, like more than 5 gain, it's the change is enough to alter the timbre of instruments and vocals. But when mastering or even when mixing tracks, they EQ it anyway, and every engineer will have a different style of EQing. They have, and we know this because depending on how you EQ an instrument, it actually also changes how sounds or instruments are perceived. So it is an entirely different subject of EQing. So and a lot of people don't realize this, that the final product that we hear, the final result has been heavily EQ'd. There is no way I can listen to an EQ'd song. It is heavily EQ'd, and I don't say that it is. I'm not saying it lightly to the point that it, like, it's been altered. It's just the nature of making music. Even the vocals, increasing around this area, and like, we understand that. All right, so I think I have the gold nozzles in here. Something wrong with my player. Yeah. Tone generators, easy fix. What's wrong with this? Oh man. Something's wrong, but I think I'm just gonna use what do I have here? There it is. Okay, so but the thing about this player is doesn't really have an app, but I think I haven't heard the gold nozzle, so I just want to listen to it if it sounds good. All right, where was I? I think I was with You know what? I gotta pee, man. I gotta pee. Sorry about that. So where was I? So I was talking about the SimGut ET142 in here. Let me just pause that. Yeah, the treble tones are not fun to listen to. Really, like wee. You can try to listen to that. Like if you check where your like kind of like updating where you can still listen to, like until how many hertz. But that is also going to be very IEM dependent as well. I noticed that better drivers have I don't like it that they don't break. They don't break, and you can see that too. Like I don't know, it's really just to check the peaks and dips with the tone generator. All right, let me just move this SD card. Where is it? Oh, it's here. I am getting the Delcy. Get K-Fine Delcy, and they have the Arnar as well. I think it's a planar and a balanced armature. So I think that's how the naming is, Arnar. I'm very excited about the Delcy though. Was it you, Misk, that you said about the Delcy? I've been wanting to try the Delcy before. I just slipped my mind, and then Miss said like like they fit really good, and so yeah, K Fine said yeah, okay, we're gonna send you the Delcy. AE. So I'm excited to try that because I think it's sub 60, right? So yeah, they said they're gonna send that to me. So I'm really excited to try it. I've also had like some of my friends tell me that Delcy is, it actually sounds really, really good for its price. So yeah, it might actually be one of my, who knows, might be the perfect score. I'm looking at the graph of the Delcy too. It's actually really promising. Um, what I mean by promising is it doesn't really doesn't really yeah, it's like there's a peak and then okay. Hannah. Who's Hannah? It looks really good though. It's a little bit bassy, but it looks like it's a very natural sounding IM. It doesn't have the Kima. But I'm thinking it might actually be very close to the Kima. I don't know. Let's see here. Graph sniffing again. I hate when I sniff graphs, man. Oh, okay. So it says silver nozzle is good. Just really checking how close is it to the Kima 2. Okay. So it's a little bit bassier than more relaxed gain. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's all I need to know. But I know these are just assumptions. But yeah, K-Fine stuff, they are very, very good. Very comfortable. Even with the clean, even with the Quatio. So okay, let me just try this one in here. Yeah, what I like about the ET142 is actually the treble. It's just really it's smooth. Let me apply my EQ in here. We have 2100 minus 3 and a Q value of 2.5. Yeah, it's definitely much more open. So this is, yeah, it's much more open sounding. More balanced. So with this kind of, I'm done with this EQ. I'm just done with it, I'm satisfied with it. So there's also what we call masking. So masking is, I'm not sure if you're familiar with masking, but for example, there's a peak in there. Imagine it to be like there's a beam of light from here, from the base, beam of light, and the higher that mountain is, it's gonna mask the succeeding frequencies. You know what I mean? Or it could be before and after. So it's like you only hear the speak in here and you don't really hear a lot of extension anymore because of that peak. So that's called masking. I know a lot of reviewers have said that already, but for me, it is an observable phenomena. There's also what's bass masking, and the bass masking is definitely what people tell you that the mids are a little bit recessed. It's because there's too much mid bass in here that you kind of like yeah, the mids, sometimes the timbres change, sometimes they're not as forward, but peaks in here can mask treble. It can also be the other way around. So if the treble here is too much, have I noticed that though? Like if the treble is too much, like for example the Dioko. No, I don't think I've noticed that. Dioko has a lot of treble in here. I don't see it masking other stuff. The Dioko just doesn't really have a lot of bass. So masking usually happens in, for me, at least for me, happens like if there's a peak in here, too much peak, usually it masks the frequencies after that. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Really? Are the SD cards expensive right now? Huh. Is it because of what? Is it because of like I know that RAM is expensive because of AI. I didn't know that um SD cards are expensive too. Oh, but maybe they share the same components as their RAM, right? I suppose, yeah. I know, dude. Yeah, I know. And there's very big production of greenhouse gas, right? I think directed to AI. I know. And the more you use AI, dude, I use AI now, like ChatGPT or whatever. They're just very helpful. It's very helpful if you know what questions you're asking. Yeah, I was just trying the gold. I still prefer. I think the was it the red? I think I prefer the red. So the gain is lesser. I was just trying if a closer peak to 3K would make a little bit of difference, but I feel like the red is still the way to go for the ET142s. But then again, dude, how much are these ET142? Sim got ET142 price. It should be 249, $250. It sounds good, but dude, the Divine is 150, man. Like the div- the Divine is 150. Um yeah, it's better just a better pick for me overall. Um I am going to release my video on that. I'd review the Divine, the Diablo, the Martillo, probably this week. But yeah, I have a lot of stuff. So many backlogs. Definitely, um, wait for that. Wow, this just a lot of talking today, man. Not really about music or something, but um listening to new artists too, like just, whatever YouTube suggests. Um what was that again, miss, that you suggested me, the male? I lost my search history on that male J-pop you recently suggested. And I said like their production was their production is good. Oh, was it Telly? Ah, yeah, I think it was Telly. Let me write that down. Oh, organic call too. Yeah, let me just write that down. I used to listen to a lot of like similar to Ado stuff, you know, Ado. Listen to You and yeah. I listened to You because her voice reminded me of a song that really I'm not sure if you guys are into like very sad songs, but let me just show you one. Yeah, this one in here by Koba Solo. This song. Wait. I've become someone else's girlfriend. Aizawa. I don't know, but it is it is a nice song. It's a nice produced song. This just came to my recommendations one day. Listened to it and read the captions and the translations, and dude, this is so painful to listen to. I've become someone else's girlfriend, but it's a really nice song. Koba Solo is a producer. He collabs with different artists. I think it's originally from this guy Waxy, and Aizawa's voice reminded me so much on Tuyu's voice. Tuyu is also like a J-pop, kind of like Yoasobi. Yeah, kinda, but this girl in here Tuyu. Anyhow, but yeah, so much about my music choice. Organic Calls first EPs. Okay, let me. Yeah, I'm gonna search those songs. I think that is it for today, guys. It's just really like a random stream and just appreciation for all of you, like all of you, you know, being in the channel. Someone that, and for you who haven't subscribed, please do. It's really not about for. It's not for the numbers for me. It's more of like because if you're subscribed, you get notifications when I release my video. I just like interacting with people, you know. Um, I just it's just the hobby is just better that way, and I think that is the purpose of a hobby, right? It's someone that you can share it to. Like imagine if you're just doing that something on your own. It's not as fun as you share your impressions with other people, and you know like this, you know, a lot of disagreement, and it's all good, you know. You disagree on me, it's all fine. um but that's just how the hobby is, you know. It's more fun when you get to share it with other people. So, and I appreciate you for that, you know, being in my live streams, you know, commenting on my videos. And it's I'm just don't look at me as a reviewer and like, you know, it's just look at me as like a pal, you know, like your weekend pal. We're doing this every weekend, just, you know, someone to talk to. um I don't want to be looked at as like, hey, you're a reviewer, and no, I don't want that kind of treatment. It's just, you know, we're just buddies in here. And I just host it, you know. We're just buddies and I'm just good at hosting something. That's all I'm doing. So yeah, thank you again for the support for the guys who became. I don't want you to become members, but it's really just up to you. I just did that because YouTube suggested, like, hey. But anyhow, thank you so much again, guys. Really appreciate everything that you've done. This is not my channel, this is our channel, okay? Yeah, and yeah, it's our channel, it's our community, small little community on about just about anything. So thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Misk and Adam and Ren and everything that, and GN, and Popinator and GLP and just everyone supporting. Yeah, it's fun. And of course to my big sugar daddies, you know, Super Reviews Mark, Jatiz, and Omar. He's gonna be one of my sugar daddies in the future. So but yeah, thank you so much. See you next week, I guess, if I get new stuff. If not, probably I'm gonna skip next weekend. I want to make sure that I have a good topic to talk about before doing live streams, and most of that is really just first impressions. It's fun if I do it that way, and how my impressions has changed. But you take care there. You have fun. Enjoy listening to music. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye for now.